Welcome everyone. I'm Matt. This is Desiree. We're here on Monday, February 5th, 2018 with your intermediate class recap. Today was all about turning. We talked first about turning by yourselves, just as an individual skill, and we talked a little bit about turning as a partnership skill as well, because they are different. First thing we talked about was just where on our foot we should be as we turn. I like to just be kind of far enough forward on my foot that I can pick my heels up, but I don't want to be all the way on kind of the front of the ball of my foot or way up on my toes. That makes me less balanced. I want to stay kind of more on the back of the ball of my foot. So we practice just standing there and then picking your heels off the floor. You want to think about going straight up as you do this, not forward, because then you'll fall. Just a little bit of lift off the floor. I want to use my heels kind of as brakes, so I don't want them on the floor the whole time. The next piece we talked about was our rotation of our body. This sounds kind of intuitive, but I think it's often left out of turn classes, and it's what some people will really need to get the perfect turn. So I want my foot to rotate at the same pace as my body. What tends to happen is if I rotate my body faster than my foot, then I wind up with this turned in look and it's not very stable. I know this sounds really obvious, right? Like my foot has to rotate in order for me to turn, but it tends to get left out. So the exercise we did was I just stuck my elbow to my body, I pointed my arm straight forward, and then I can look down and see that my foot is a little bit turned out relative to this line. So again, if this is my arm, my foot's turned out a couple degrees. I want to keep that as I'm going through this paddle turn. So I don't want to look down as I'm turning, I just paddle and then check in. And make sure that I have the turnout still. Paddle and check, paddle and check. I can do this either foot, just switch arms, paddle, check, paddle, check. If you find that you're seeing your foot turn in or parallel with your arm, you want to make sure that it's turned out at each point in the turn.
Allowing that ball of foot to rotate and pivot along with you.
Yep. We went through our basic inside turn for followers. We talked about how as you're taking these steps, you want to step and then rotate on each foot to make the turn more gradual. I don't want my turn to feel like I'm just stepping through everything the whole time. I also want to make sure that my turn is traveling, but not a lot of traveling. It's just a little bit of motion down line, and then I anchor. For leaders, we did our basic inside turn, then we threw on that paddle turn at the end. So we're prepping a little bit to our right leaders, then we paddle 5 and 6. Figure through that with a partner. We also talked about this hand connection. For here, I'm moving into the hand, breaking the connection and putting the follower's hand on my side. Desiree is going to keep the hand there as I turn, so that way I know where she is and I can pick up the connection right away once the turn is done. We talked really quickly about prepping. We had first the leaders be a wall, and then followers be a wall, and just practicing using the muscles within your chest and back to do what's called bowing. It's kind of like when you pull back the string of a bow, you create a lot of power and use that for rotation. We talked about how the wall doesn't push back. That was necessary for some of us. It's really just a release. It's not that I try to push myself off if I'm turning. We use that to improve the inside turn, and then we talked about our outside turn. Same principle, but the prep is happening on 1 for followers and leaders. And I rotate 2, 3, and 4. So on 4, I'm not actually facing my partner. I use my 5 and 6 to come back and face my partner. For leaders, we're doing a basic right side pass, or I step back and open up. I'm turning the follower twice, 3 and 4. Now here, I'm digging my right foot behind my left. This is creating torque, and then I can just unwind, or I can dribble. 5 and 6. 5, unwind, and 6. That was your class. Thank you all for coming. I hope you learned a lot.
Yeah, thank you all.